42 of the Heating Up podcast. On today's episode, we're going to go into Premier League updates, as always, see over Tottenham's big win versus Crystal Palace, talk a little college basketball and NBA, and then, of course, we got to finish up with some NFL news, and then Sarah's wonderful question of the week. But before we get into that, Mike brought to you our very first, very exciting Heating Up intro song. Here we go.
Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance, and I'll welcome you to a tradition unlike any other.
He's heating up.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
He's on fire. Cristiano Ronaldo. Sensational. Boom shakalaka.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
There it goes. See ya.
He's heating up.
Trying to get open, fires away.
It's over. The Bulls win at the buzzer. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
If that doesn't get you fired up, the problem is you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. DJ Mike Blazel.
Hell yeah. But as promised, we're going to get right into it. Episode 42, Heating Up. Premier League update to start. You guys started watching Tottenham with me yet, or is it still just me?
Oh, when do they play?
There we go.
Crickets.
Play. So this week, Saturday, after a two-week hiatus, Tottenham are finally back to their winning ways, and thank God, because that was very, very close to the first 70 minutes. It was absolutely miserable. And my notes app is a wasteland. Basically, as I'm watching these games, I just keep like my notes app up, and I'm just like writing down all of my thoughts. And the first 75 minutes of this game, it was just like embarrassing. I have this notes app of just all of my mean thoughts. Basically, it seems like Timo Werner's uncomfortable. Nobody's playing well together, just sloppy, no real good chances. Timo Werner and Udogie are all never on the same page. And then, turns out we score three. We go down 1-0 off of a pretty terrible free kick, direct free kick that went in. And then we're down 1-0. I'm furious, writing all these mean notes. And then we scored 3 goals in the last 20 minutes of the game, and turns out I feel great about it. So it's that selective kind of thing. You know how like women, when they give birth, like there's like the human brain, like will forget about all the pain that they had to go through and everything that they had to deal with because like biologically, like they want to have, they're going to want to have more kids. And if they remember what it's like giving birth, like they're not going to want to keep having kids. I feel like my brain just like shut off that first 70 minutes of the game because it's like, no, you're going to keep wanting to watch this team. So we look great. Van de Ven is the most important player. I'm using one of my favorite sports analogies. Like he's may not be like the best player on the team, but he's the straw that stirs the drink. And if he gets injured, we are completely screwed because when he went down, that led to basically the crash and burn of the middle of the season. We just signed the guy, Timo Werner. He's been here for probably 4 or 5 games, and he just scored. So basically got that monkey off his back, which is good to kind of not have that, weighing on you anymore. And they did listen to me. They started Son up top at striker, like I'm sure everybody took notes about last week. And it was just unfortunately because Richarlison was injured. So I don't know how much of that hand was forced, but they did it anyway. And listen, we won, but we can't keep having these injury issues. They're a real problem. And I basically am just addicted to watching videos of all the players like posting stuff and getting interviewed about like what a good time it is in the locker room and how much they love Postecoglou because it just makes me feel happy. It's like there's no better feeling than like after a win, just drinking in all of your sports media and hearing all of the players just say great things about the team.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to just have nothing better after a good win than just drinking.
Yeah. That's also the hard part of these Premier League games. They're on at 10 a.m. So it's like, it's done by noon.
Sasha, that's right. This is actually an intervention. This isn't a podcast. We're here to talk to you about drinking at 10 a.m.
So we
like childbirth. I actually think I did watch this game, but my brain doesn't let me remember it.
Oh,
so that I can watch it again the next time.
You forgot about the whole thing. I don't blame you.
That's it.
The end was great. There's a lot of exciting goals, and then now Tottenham play again. I think they play on Sunday, and we're currently in 5th. We are playing the team in 4th right now on the road at Aston Villa. So a little worried about that game. Hopefully we can, everybody can start to continue to get healthy, keep playing together well. But this is a very big game coming up, and could mean a lot for the upcoming Champions League standing. So fingers crossed, looking good. Listen, I think it's 10 a.m. on Sunday. What else we got going on? There's no other football. It's not March Madness yet. Get on the Tottenham train.
I'm setting a
Well,
reminder
see,
right now.
my issue is it's literally this week. Like there's always something. I'm in March Madness prep mode here. So
Okay.
while you almost convinced me there for a minute when college basketball was looking a little rough, I don't know. I can't commit. How long does the season go? When is the end?
It
never ends.
It is basically forever. I don't know how these guys. I think they may be like the most played athletes of like in all of sports. There really is no off season for these guys because it's like the off season is just kind of during the summer. The off season is like basically only end of May, June until like August, but then they go play like with their national team. So it's like literally season ends. And then like 2 days later, they're just traveling to their home country and like training with their national team. And then they go on to play with like the Euros or the African Cup or something. So it's like, I don't know. Like, these guys just never imagine if like the NBA season ended and then like Jokic had to go back to Serbia to go play for 3 months, like with the Serbian national team, finish up, have like 2 weeks off and then go back to the NBA. So it's just like, it literally is nonstop.
I do think if they had a tighter actual schedule, typical dumb American me can figure it all out, so I never really understand. I think that's one of the biggest things holding me back personally is I never know when, like we like to have firm endings. Like you got the Super Bowl and the NBA March Madness, and you got the NBA championship, and then with this, it's like I every week I see some team winning something, and then like the next week, like Messi's won like the cup like 7 times since he's come to Miami, and I think he's only been there like a year. And I'm like, didn't he just win like the title? And then he's like, here he is playing in China. And I'm like, well, what is that? And I need like to have one of those walls like Charlie and It's Always Sunny with like all the different, so I could draw the lines and figure out exactly where we are in the season. That's my, cause watching soccer with you is fun. I like it.
It's a great time, but it's also just because we like hanging out. It's one of those things that like may not be that much fun, but it's like, you know what, we could basically just have like some weird Chinese ping pong on, and like if we have got $10 on the game,
I can bet on it. Yeah.
All of a sudden it's really exciting. But I do agree with you. It's not as simple and straightforward as a lot of the American sports are, but I also think they don't really care as much because the rest of the world is only working on that schedule. Like it's easy where it's like, oh, we can just go. There's NBA, there's NFL. It is what it is. But over there, it's like everybody is only waiting on those teams playing. It's like they can just play whenever, wherever, and the season starts and stops when, because it's like everybody there is eating, drinking, living, breathing just those teams. So they can kind of get away with whatever they want.
True. Listen, when I have some bad sleeping nights, Sasha, I'll start calling you, getting you into Chinese basketball with me. We'll do a whole segment on it.
How many teams do you think you could name in Chinese basketball right now?
Oh, I know there's the Sharks.
Yeah.
This is bad radio.
I just want to know how
I can go back into my bet list and find it.
Yeah, I wanted to know how many teams that you knew off the top of your head. If you like the Guangdong
Sharks,
Dragons, you started pulling some weird shit that nobody heard of. I was like, we really got a problem.
That's an actual team, dude. Oh, well, you continue on. I'm going to find fun names that I have literally gambled on. The worst part about betting on Chinese basketball, because I know everybody wants to know, is when you realize that you're watching and then all of a sudden that's a former NBA players on the team you bet against. It's a nightmare.
This is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, because you know you're about to lose because they're just so much better than everybody else.
I just Googled. They have some great names. I really think we need to start taking notes. The Long Lions, the Flying Leopards, the Northeast Tigers, the Ningbo Rockets, the Monkey King. I want to be a Monkey King fan.
Well, continue on. I'm going to find it. I got to figure out whether I did it on DraftKings or FanDuel. Probably both.
I like this. The Brave Dragon, the Sturgeons. Well, why not? I like the Sturgeons, but it also basketball. It's not as good as the NBA. I feel like we do, as Sarah alluded to, we do need to touch on college basketball because we are heading into conference championships very, very soon. Some of the lay of the land is starting to take place a little bit. You know, UConn officially clinched. Some other who else? I think there might have been somebody else who won, but I'm just trying to get my mind ready and get locked in for this bracket that will be dropping soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my biggest concern right now, because I've been holding off all season, am I falling for Purdue? I watched them last night. They had a pretty big road win this whole week. So my approach to betting this week has been take the home teams. That's all what I always do in college basketball, but it's senior week. It's pretty much senior night for most of these teams as the season's wrapping up. And with that, comes all the emotion. So teams are more likely to have some upsets. You got to look at the bubble teams. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity for Illinois to go down against, Purdue to go down against Illinois. And they came out with a win. Their guards looked great. I mean, Edey, he can take over the game when he wants, but I feel like I got a touch of like a glimpse into seeing, some activity for people beyond him on the team. And now I'm kind of I'm buying in on them. And I hate it because this is a trap. We all know it's a trap. I don't think they're going out in the first round, but they're not winning the national championship. And I need to just keep reminding myself of that every day.
I'm taking the bait right there with you. If you go back a couple weeks, all I was saying is I can't wait to bet against Purdue. I can't wait to bet against Purdue. And every time I watch them, I'm like, there's not another college basketball team that I've watched this year that looks like they could even try to compete with them at the moment.
No.
So we just idiots. We're just going to take
really good.
Tennessee does look really good, but I'm still worried about the size and their guards and everything. Their guard play looks so good, and I literally just always make my list of things to remember going into the tournament. Older guards, like just talented big guards, always end up succeeding in the tournament because it's just like the guys that have been there before, people that know what they're doing. And then my other favorite thing to do is when I'm trying to pick a team, it's like I try to forget everything I've watched. I love going on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and just finding some like autistic looking nerd guy that's like, well, according to these advanced metrics and this graph, I have every team, and 98% of every team that's done these four things has won the title, and they can just totally convince me that like these 5 teams are the only people that are adjusted defensive AGI and Ken Palm, and then have an average height of 6'3" and a quarter. They're basically guaranteed to win. So then I'll just take that hook, line, and sinker every single time. It never hits.
Send it right to me.
Just completely believe it. It never works for me. I never know what I'm doing. But then I always feel like an idiot. It always feels like after the, going into the turn, going into the final weekend, that one, the other guy, I found one guy, and then it's always the other guy that was doing the same thing I was looking for. It was like, see, I predicted exactly these 2 teams would be able to be in there. Like, why did I find you in the middle of March? Why did I find you in April? I always get furious because it's always like, you were there the whole time. I was looking for you. Where were you? But maybe these people are just lying to me, but I'll believe it every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker.
Yeah, it's you gotta, it's an all, just my only point on Tennessee so far, because the deep dive hasn't begun, but Dalton Connect is just an all-time name.
Good name. Real good name.
And he's also very good as well. But I'm getting really like, I'm excited to get on here in about a week and start telling everybody about Dalton Connect like I've been following him his whole life since middle school.
Yeah, we've been meaning to talk to you about that. You got to stop doing that.
Yeah, right. I'm a big on the middle school scouting circuit.
Yeah.
Wait, only real ones from this podcast will know that we had a middle school basketball scout on this podcast in the very beginning.
We
Not
did.
with this crew, the original. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. Take It Home podcast. I can't even remember the name. We did have a middle school scout, and he actually picked up, I think it was Devin Booker was who he recruited, or he scouted him. And kind of what is it called when you scout someone and you're correct? I don't know what the terminology is,
Right,
but
well,
yeah, middle school age Devin Booker. So
That's also maybe hopefully a coincidence that there is something else that Devin Booker is known for, and it's not. It's weird that they're
hopefully
finding.
that's not what he was scouting.
Yeah. So very, very, very funny. I did not know that they
Beijing
existed.
Royal Fighters, by the way, found them.
The
Found
what?
a long string of bets. The Beijing Royal Fighters, the Jin Northeast Tigers. Who else do I like here? The Zhejiang Gongshao Lions and the Sichuan Jinchang. Pardon me for not if I didn't.
I think we may get
pronounce that
canceled
right.
for some pronunciation here if I had to guess.
But God bless. Sorry, quick callback. God bless Chinese basketball. Anyways,
Thank God for it. It's only a matter of time. It's like I planned this whole trip to London, which I know I have gotten reached out. A few people reached out because they heard what I said on the podcast. No worries, everybody. I did change our entire trip to Ireland to make us be able to stay in London longer to see the game. So it will maybe be a little harder of a sell for me to try to convince Andrea to go see the the Guangzhou Sturgeons.
Well, you miss every shot you don't take, Sasha.
That's true.
Just cancel the Irish trip. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We'll cancel the whole trip. We'll
cancel
we'll get to
Ireland, head over to China. The games start early. I don't know. They probably start that early over there because I don't know how time zones work. Yeah. That's it. You get in there, you get in, get out.
I'll go fight. Is Jimmer Fredette still over there, or is he back stateside?
I don't think he's playing anymore because, like I said, I've been following this season and I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him bouncing around. I think I Googled him at one point. I don't think he's playing.
Yeah. But into some real basketball, Sarah, I am becoming legitimately concerned about how good the Heat are starting to look again. And it feels like it's just going to be a repeat of last year. And Mike, I do hate to say it, but I do think that you called it immediately. You knew that this was coming.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sarah. Take it away. That's your squad. Oh, do you want go on about the Heat? Go off.
No, I thought you called it, but Sarah, I'm not sure.
I called it. Yeah, of course I called it.
I thought I was going to let Mike take his flowers on this one because he came on here when we first started talking NBA and was declaring the Heat. We're going to have a season. And I feel like we go as far as Jimmy Butler takes us. That's kind of just how things are for them. But supporting cast is playing well. They had a sketchy one against the Pistons last night for a little bit where I was like, how's this going to turn out? But I feel like that's just their MO as well. You know what I mean? They're able to beat the good teams. And then sometimes along the way they falter against the bad teams. But yeah, they're shaping up for another playoff push, and I wouldn't be surprised, if they make another deep run.
So the reason I wanted you to do that was because I had them last night because of my rule of I'm only betting my finals team. So if you know that rule, you know that the Celtics really screwed me over last night. I went to bed. I was like, we're good. And I woke up in the middle of the night, like, let me just check. And I'm like, oh, God, they were up 22 in the fourth. Miami really struggles to get a bucket sometimes, and that's a little scary. That's my only new developing thought. I still love them because they always do this, and I love the roster. But, like, there was a good stretch in that Miami-Detroit game where they couldn't buy a bucket. Detroit's not good on defense. So,
yeah, I
don't know. To be determined, but
they are feisty, though. They are putting up fights. They're obviously their record's horrific, but I don't think they're walking in with the expectation to get blown out. I do think that they're being coached well, and they're not an easy out, which I do think maybe some teams go in expecting a little bit. So I don't think that the fact that they can win that game, I think, says a lot. It's some of those ones where they walk in expecting it, and you're still able to pull it out and not just completely shit down your leg. I do think that is the mark of a good team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the scoring piece for me with the Heat. It's like, had it been like a 120, like say 128 to 122, and it's like, wow, Detroit stayed in it. It was just like there were like long stretches where it's like they struggle to get that offense going. And I don't know if it's like Duncan Robinson, if he's not like, do they have enough people stretching the floor? Tyler Hero didn't play, so I think that's part of it. Is just like they get a little like inside the 3-point line. Like Terry Rozier still hasn't really played well for them, which is exciting because I think he's great. But I think the shooting opens up their game, and when they're not shooting, it's like you can tell that it's difficult for them to get stuff going for Bam and for Jimmy, who play mostly underneath the 3-point line. So
yeah, last year they really relied a lot on like short bursts of good activity from like Max Strus, like Caleb Martin, guys like that. And that was the only way they made it through the playoffs because obviously, Jimmy Butler can only do so much. Bam is very spotty as well. So I think that's kind of just how it's been for them the past few years. But like you said, that creates some problems when it can be hit or miss, when you're scoring, especially if you're playing a team that can put up a lot of points and really gap you, in those times.
Yeah, Spoelstra just finds a way to like turn somebody into a superhero every single playoff game, and that's what it is. It's like he sees who's got it and like gets it. He like gets the most out of his players in the big games. So
yeah, which is great to watch.
And now you see the Celtics. The Celtics, man, they've got something for them not to be able to close that game last night without Donovan Mitchell.
Weird.
Up 22 points. It's the fourth largest comeback in the NBA in the fourth quarter this season. That's really, I mean, I know they were on the road, but I think they were just walking around really feeling themselves after destroying the Warriors and thought, like, here comes another rout. And then they just let it. I don't know. Championship teams can't do that. You got to close.
Yeah, I don't hate this for them. I think this actually feels like a wake up call. Not a huge game. Like they're very much in control of how they want to, how the rest of the season is going to go. And I still, obviously this is like the third or fourth game they won by 50 points was that Warriors game.
Yeah,
I can't remember whatever the record was. So it's like I do think that having a wake up call in a moment that's not that important like this, not a playoff game, not some game that's going to really determine seeding, I think could be good for them to realize that they are not invincible. They can't just go out and beat every team by 50 points. I think actually could be okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're so talented from top to bottom, like, but they're the Celtics. They're not the old. They're this iteration of the Celtics always finds a way to screw it up. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, they have the East is basically locked down. I mean, they have a 7 or 8 game lead.
Mm-hmm. So every time I listen to. Every time I hear that Jason Tatum is 26, it makes me feel so old.
Mm-hmm.
He's 19. He's only 19. He can't even drink yet. The only thing I will tell you is they have one of the best starts to a season. I'm not going to give like dates because I'm going to screw it up. But the funny thing is they were 40-12. Just a reminder for people who think the Celtics, this is easy in the bag. You know who else started 40-12? Do you remember the old Atlanta Hawks with Kyle Korver and Al Horford? Remember those
team.
Hawks?
Great team.
Yeah, and got immediately bounced in the playoffs, and everybody knew it. So, the regular season's the regular season. Well, the Celtics have shown that they can like move through a couple rounds, but that's where I think the Heat come in, where it's like they're not afraid of them at all.
Yeah,
and like Jimmy Butler's the man. Jimmy Butler's going to say things to them that's going to get really in their head. I wish I could mic him up for it. That's just we'll see.
Yeah,
I
can totally see
Karl Anthony Towns' career.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, Jaylen Brown not having a left hand is going to come back in there's some embarrassing fashion. They're going to have to be playing Peyton Pritchard in clutch time minutes. Yeah, I can see it.
Yep. Bam Adebayo blocks Porzingis 2 or 3 times, and all of a sudden he doesn't feel as tall as he is.
Porzingis' left leg falls off.
Right.
Just could be, but injuries. Knicks, I think,
of left legs.
Yeah, Knicks are dead, and I got one of the saddest, scariest texts ever. I was actually at dinner with the in-laws. Shout out Beth and Don, and got a text just a text from Mike that said Brunson tore his Achilles. So completely ruined the dinner. Not your fault. Well, I guess now, but now it's so you set me up. So now it seems like it's not an Achilles, but it's just like a knee injury, and it's a contusion, it's a bruise, and but he's out games and stuff. So it feels like they're kind of intentionally hiding stuff. It kind of feels like they're doing like a hockey injury thing, where it's just like a lower body injury. Like we don't really know, but he's not playing. So I feel like it may be something more serious than they're trying to make it out to be because he's missing games. But I mean, I hope he's fine because literally, I mean, 4 of what would be our starting 5 are all out. So it's like I can't blame that we're not looking good. But it's like with Randall, Brunson, Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson all just injured for kind of an indefinite period of time, it's hard to really get excited or get your hopes up about anything.
Tom Thibodeau striking again.
Yeah, it turns out playing your team 75 minutes a game it's tough to keep people healthy.
Yeah, but for in my defense, I was begging to see another replay of the injury, but I think now in sports, if there's anything like remotely bad of an injury, they just do not show the replays anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like 30 feet away from a television and I had bet on the Knicks, so I immediately went to the darkest parts of my brain. But from the corner, I was like, that looks like his foot's flopping. That's an Achilles. But then I sent you the text and I literally said out loud, I'm like, I sure would like to get another look at that. But
it's good to have. It's a good quick draw. It's better to be first than right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you should always take my text with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
unless I'm sending a link to back it up.
Yeah, I do not want whatever links you're sending me. I've seen enough terrible stuff recently. And then I think my only other stuff. So basically, I'm keeping my expectations fine for the Knicks. Like everybody needs to get healthy. maybe injury is actually the only way that we can like get Tom Thibodeau to like load manage. It's like, oh, we only need to play a few games. So it's like maybe these guys are all going to come back and be fresh for the playoffs. Maybe Galaxy brain.
Right, you're timing your injuries out perfectly to be healthy to where he can't hurt you anymore.
Right, the bad man can't hurt me.
yeah.
And then the other thing is Dame time is fun to watch. I still love. He's terrible on defense, but when he's the only guy going and getting baskets, he's fun as fuck to watch with the ball.
Yeah. His ability to take over is just so great.
But he doesn't play defense, guys.
No. You need to pair him with the right kind of guy. I mean, like Giannis, I think if they can get their shit together and they can get comfortable playing with each other and maybe get through whatever nonsense Doc Rivers brings to a team. I mean, obviously, it just seems like on paper they're a great combo.
Yeah,
they need that like Ubuntu. What was the thing that they did with the Celtics? Remember when they won the title? And they had that like saying. You don't remember this?
No.
I'll look it up.
Ubuntu. Is that a Chinese basketball team from Qingdao?
Yeah, wait, maybe that's a team I bet on. Yeah. I've been up late gambling, and they won. Hold on, it was like a motto.
I'm not sure
and I remember
you're googling this because I don't think you know how to spell it. Whatever you're doing.
I'm not sure it's a word.
Hang on. This is a real thing. Continue on.
Yeah.
Leave me behind.
Yeah, well, we'll leave you there. But I'm very excited for as the NBA is starting to ramp up. It's fun to watch teams start to care a little bit, and when you actually see the standings and it actually starts to matter, it's fun. So it's like this is despite not having NFL, this is still one of the more exciting times of the year. You got it.
It is Ubuntu.
Unbelievable.
I wish I could show you on the screen. Ubuntu, the concept started in 2007, 2008 with the Celtics and head coach Doc Rivers. The Nguni Bantu word means humanity and is occasionally translated to "I am because we are."
I thought it meant no worries.
We knew everything we were. It's Hakuna Matata. We knew everything we were trying to accomplish was greater than one individual. The word appeared on the side of the Celtics rings from their world championship. Yeah. Oh. Where did that go? What happened to that? It was like this. They were shoving that down our throats. And then Doc Rivers has proceeded to go from team to team. And it's just chaos everywhere and selfishness. Where's the Ubuntu?
And is anybody like checking on his throat? He's got to go to a doctor. He sounds worse and worse by the day.
You guys haven't gotten my emails about Ubuntu and the way we need to run this podcast? What the fuck is going on here?
I tried to put it up on the wall in the living room, but Andrea said no.
Yeah. Oh, well then don't open the Amazon package that's outside.
But as always, NFL still, I feel like the NFL news cycle still relatively dominates. We've got everything going on. We just had the whole combine go on, which was very fun, and then the usual news starts coming out. People not getting franchise tagged, but I think before we get to the franchise tags and the news about our teams, I feel like in the combine, you know how they make Rich Eisen run the 40 every year, and then make him do everything. Like you don't realize, they always, I love it now. They have the technology and they just like overlap all the players, all these 360-pound linemen. They got the guy running the 4-2-1. They like overlap to show how crazy it is watching like him, a regular guy next to what these athletes are doing. Like it completely, because we just, you watch 100 guys run the 40 and you're like, wow, that's fast. You have no real like correlation of what a 360-pound guy running a 5'4" 40 looks like, or what that receiver running a 4-2-1 40 looks like. And then you see him go and do it. You're like, holy shit, that is insane how fast that is. I want to see him doing the 3-cone drill. I want to see Rich Eisen throwing the ball. I want to, it's like, I have no gauge.
The bench press.
Watch him get choked out because 225 crushes his windpipe. I want to see, like, I'm a dumb guy. I want to see the correlation of like what a real person, regular average dude doing this stuff looks like, because we've just become so desensitized to how insane of athletes these people are. And like, I need to see specifically what other regular guy looks like doing this so I can be like, oh my God, that is completely insane.
I like
Are you
that.
asking for us to have a combine right now?
Oh shit! Yeah,
I'll tear my
Yeah.
Achilles in the first 10
Yeah,
yards.
are you asking for two co-hosts that are going to be in the hospital in 48 hours? But yeah, I think maybe we can set something up. We'll get some video recording. I got to see how high I can jump. We got to see what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am a world-class broad jumper. Did
Yeah.
you know that? I don't know if you guys knew that about me.
I thought you were kidding about that.
Yeah,
I saw you in those
it's
record books in
official.
Chatham High School.
This medal's around here somewhere. I'll find it afterwards.
Yeah. But in the real NFL news, I feel like I'm just going to selfishly start with the Giants. Saquon is officially a free agent. We did not franchise tag him. And according to everything, it seems like Vegas has set the odds as he is now I think it's minus money for him to sign with the Texans. I feel like that does make perfect sense. He fits in there. It feels right. Young team. But it's very, very sad. I don't know if I want him to sign him. I go back and forth between you don't want to sign a running back. You don't want to pay for a running back. But then it's like I saw what our team looked like without him, and he's the only talented person on the offensive side of the ball. So it's like unless we have some grandiose scheme to completely change what our whole offense looks like, I'm really not looking forward to the way this year looks. And then we also didn't franchise tag Xavier McKinney. So I don't know who we're going to franchise tag. And the only other news out of New York is that so much buyer's remorse for Daniel Jones. Oh, it's like I can't. They're not happy in house. It's like you just did this a year ago, and he was injured for most of the year. You barely got to see him play since you signed him, and you're already just this sucks. And the news is getting out that this sucks. It's not even like they just feel like it sucks. They're talking about it enough where multiple reporters need to say something about it. I couldn't be lower right now.
You guys have all done it, though. You've all bought something and been so pumped checking out. And before you even try it on or plug it in, you're like, what the hell did I just buy this for? I do that all the time. I can relate to that.
Yeah, but what did you
spend?
Gym
memberships.
Yeah, you spent $40 on a button-up shirt. This is $40 million on a quarterback we all knew sucked.
You're a giant. Listen, you're a giant. Daniel Jones had he tore his Achilles. No, it's ACL.
ACL.
Yeah. I don't know. Give him some receivers. Maybe you can do it. I just feel bad for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. The offense is looking very grim in New York. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't great to begin with, and somehow it's gotten worse. I was kind of on the fence about. People initially were saying that Barkley might end up with the Cowboys, which I was like,
that's what I think.
Could be a fit. I don't know how I feel about it though. I mean, I feel like it would just be us taking Zeke 3 years ago. It would be Zeke 2020. 21, productivity and how they would fit him into the scheme. So it would have to depend on, I would want a very short contract if that were to be the case. But I tend to fall on the side, I think, of you don't need to pay a running back a lot of money or a long deal at this point in time. And I know that's not great for the running backs, but that's how I feel like the Cowboys, they have enough, problems with their salary cap. So I don't want to get involved in any of that.
Yeah,
you're going to overpay for a running back this year, Sarah. Buckle up.
We're overpaying probably for more than that. Dak Prescott's deal.
Yeah, no salary cap in Dallas. I don't get how they could just keep overpaying for everybody, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, thoughts on
Saquon's going to get...
Go on, Saquon. We're selling Saquon. We'll sell Saquon all day.
Saquon's going to get some... My prediction would be Saquon's going to get the Christian McCaffrey deal. Christian McCaffrey got 4 years, $64 million. That's not all guaranteed, and I don't want to go into how much of that is a good chunk of that was guaranteed. I think it was, I'll tell you, actually, it was 21 million guaranteed. That's what he's going to get. He's going to get right around that. Someone is going to pay him that number. That's my prediction. I think he's the only one who gets a fat deal.
I hope it's not Dallas paying that then.
If he can go out and play like Christian McCaffrey can, which I think he has every ability to do. I mean, it's if it's not horrible, if he's scoring that many touchdowns, which I think Saquon is capable of. It's almost like I want to see him get get taken care of. It's like when it's some shitty drug addict boyfriend. He has some girlfriend that he really loves, but he like wants to see her happy with somebody else. It's like when he's really sad to see her go, but like, man, she deserves to be treated right. So that's kind of how I feel about Saquon. We just can't treat her right.
You take good care of my girl.
Right, yeah, you take good
Saquon.
care. I need to go to a junkyard and scrap for copper wire, but hopefully she can be taken care of by this guy in the penthouse. So
I'll come find you after I'm out of the halfway house.
But Sarah, thoughts on Dak Prescott's goatee?
I kind of like it. He's been for too long holding on to the in between shave head or not. And he had a bad beard the past few years where it was just like an in-between length. So I think it looks good. I think the memes about it looking like The Rock are pretty funny because it's accurate as well. But yeah, I don't know why that popped off on the internet so much for the past few days. That was a little bizarre, but that's what happens for Dallas. What do I think about him potentially getting paid a lot of money? On the fence about that stuff, for sure.
Yeah, my only issue with the haircut picture is that his the drape that they put over him to get haircut has fake chains on the on the drape to get haircut. It's just that feels like a not classy move. That feels like you go to a haircut place that's like $14 for a haircut and they do that to make it feel fancy. That doesn't feel like something a multimillionaire quarterback would have going on. So that was the only weird part.
The fake chains were like obstructing his real very large nice chains.
Yeah, he's got some $40,000 necklace on, but we've got like a $10 drape covering them. So other than that, yeah,
he's got a big ass head too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
Right? I feel like that really highlighted. Who do you think's got? You think he's got the biggest head of a quarterback in the league?
Well, now that the Mannings aren't in it, maybe.
Right. Trying to think.
Let me get back.
I think Josh Allen has a really big head.
Whoa.
You said it. Who?
I thought you were using that as a segue to talk about him, to be honest.
Time. Where are we at? 36 minutes.
Yeah.
You know who else has a really big head? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen got ripped on actually on the internet this week. Did you see what happened to him?
No, what did he do?
He got out of his car and he didn't hold the door or something for Haley Steinfeld and was just walked away from her, and everybody was like, "Oh, what an asshole, he's not a gentleman." So Josh Allen tweeted for the first time, an actual tweet by him since December 2nd, and his tweet was, "My pants ripped at dinner, didn't want my cheeks out. I love Paris."
Hilarious.
Josh Allen. Let's go. Guy's busting out of his pants.
Is that a movie quote? Because doesn't he only talk in movie quotes? Are we sure he actually ripped his pants and that's not just from some comedy movie?
Maybe, but it was like I said, for the first tweet in 2 months, and he was getting dragged online about being a jerk. And it's like, see, everybody wants to bring him down. You can't bring my man Josh down. Can't bring him down.
He ripped his pants. You can't bring that guy down.
Can't physically bring him down either. Also, just so you know.
But speaking of the Bills, also, Tre'Davious White, as of just before recording this, officially released along with Mitch Morse. So tough overall news for the Bills, I imagine. Tough news for you emotionally.
Yeah, first draft pick in the Sean McDermott era, Trey White. Tough. It's tough. The Bills team and the fandom, it's like we get so into everybody from our third string linebacker. We feel like they're all family, but this had to be a business decision. I think we saved $36 million, which was really necessary because we need to free up cap space to do stuff. But it is a bummer. I mean, tearing your ACL, working so hard to come back, and then finally getting back to what looked like, his old self, and then to pop his Achilles is terrible. Mitch Morse, it was also a leader of that offense. I don't know, this is all just happening in the last couple hours, but I wonder if they're able to re-sign Mitch Morse at a cheaper deal. But I don't know if releasing him means he didn't want to restructure or how that works exactly. But I wouldn't say either of them are definitely gone. I think Trey White more likely is going to be on a different team next year, but I wouldn't put it past them to bring Mitch Morse back because we also traded Ryan Bates yesterday, who was our backup. He could play. He was the guy we thought was maybe going to be the next center. We traded him to the Bears for a 5th-round pick. So I find it surprising to trade him and then cut Mitch Morse the next day. I say stay tuned on that. Everybody patiently waiting who the center of the Buffalo Bills is besides me every day. But Trey White was awesome teammate, so much fun. I thought he was he brought the levity or brevity in our defense, like dancing on the field and like kept everything loose. Hard worker, great member of the community. You couldn't say a bad thing about him. So, he made a lot of money. He'll get another contract. But, with cornerbacks, this could be over really fast too. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
And then also, I know you had mentioned it a few times on the pod, Mike, Jesus Christ, receiver on the Bucks.
It's not Jesus Christ, it's Mike Evans.
Yeah. Mike Evans. I felt like you were relatively. I feel like that was always a little inkling in the back of your head, like Mike Evans might show up.
I know.
And sign the 2-year deal, be a one-team man for his whole career. It seems so. That a little disappointing.
Yeah, all the big receivers are re-signed or franchised. The only one really out there besides Gabe Davis, who I guess is not coming back. Please don't sign with the Chiefs. Is who's the one on the Jaguars? Why is his name escaping me? He gambled on football.
Ridley.
Ridley's the only real top guy I would want. Do you know the big rumor, the real, this has got some legs to it, some smoke behind the Buffalo Bills? We might be trying to trade for Cortland Sutton.
Oh, forgot about that guy.
6'4". If I can't have DK, dude. I'll take Cortland. I'll take Cortland Sutton. He had that very great, huge catch to beat the Bills this year. So, if we can't keep your enemies close, they say he might be only worth his trade value is like a 4th-round pick. So, with Denver needing to eat all of this salary, because the next 2 years they have to eat potentially this year $53 million in dead cap.
Jesus.
They could either take a bigger hit this year and then only owe 20 something, or split it evenly and then it would be 35 and 35. But either way, they're going to have all this dead cap, and Cortland Sutton's one of those names that they could, receivers and running backs can be expendable. They're not a team they're not going to win the division this year. He's 28. It's it would be. I'm trying not to jinx it, but I really want that. If there's no secret, if DK, I keep checking his accounts just to see if he wipes Seattle off of it, but nothing yet. But give me Cortland Sutton. That might be. That's my new guy. That's who I need. I need him.
I was a little curious how we haven't talked to it yet. I think we're getting to it soon. Russell Wilson is no longer with the Denver Broncos. And I was a little curious, Mike, how your notes were relating that back to the Bills, but it seems we just got there.
There you have it. That's what it could. Oh, spoiler. The note says what it could mean for the Buffalo Bills. It could mean Cortland Sutton is lining up outside. Yeah, it's where free agency starts in a week, guys. So we better get off our take some basketball and stuff because we're back on football. I'm back. I'll have a ton of football notes for you March 13th. I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but there's a lot of free agents, and there's always a ton more moves than you think. And especially for your team specifically, we've all watched second and third string, how important that is. So this is my favorite part. It's diving into these what seem like insignificant players who are then starting in the playoffs for us. So it's the best time of year. Spring rises anew. What's that? How's that say? Hope springs anew. Hope springs eternal.
Not a popular saying.
I don't know.
Is English your second language?
When she's gone.
I think I know that one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. What I mean is, it's a new league year, baby. We're back. Bills are going to win. Let's go.
And with the new spring comes back, Mike. You may
somebody get Josh Allen a pair of pants that fit.
Mike doesn't even believe there's a pair of pants that could fit that guy, if you know what I mean.
No, let him play nude.
That's what they all say. But before we finish up here, Sarah,
all right, I'm done.
I think we already know what Mike's answer would be, but Sarah had a wonderful question here that I thought that we all thought would be fun. And if you could participate as a player on any one team for one specific season, what team and what season would that be? So that's just completely encapsulated my mind ever since you said that, and I can't unthink it. The only question I do have is, am I me right now, or am I talented at this sport?
Talented.
Okay, so like
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
yeah. So I'm like whatever the version of like a 6-man would be. Like I'm not cracking any sort of starting lineup, but like I'm hanging around and like I'm getting some minutes on whatever this team is.
Yeah, you're participating in practice for sure. Not
Okay.
sure if you're actually getting game time, but you're on the team, because I feel like otherwise, if you're just thinking about this like as a random sports watching fan, I would want to be on any team that won any championship,
Yeah.
because that's cool, So I feel like it makes it a little bit harder. So if you're interacting with guys on the team or women, you're playing with them, you are immersed, in the team culture and everything as a
Okay.
player.
So it's like I'm not lighting up the stat sheet, but like if we win a championship, like I'm getting a ring.
Yes, yeah, you might be in the picture, maybe second row, but you're there.
Okay. Like it'll be one of those things that like lights up when like I'm doing something else bad. Like, oh, look at this guy on the team that he was like back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, do you want to kick us off? You have any ideas before we dive into this?
Well, obviously, everyone's expecting me to just throw out every Cowboys team in the 1990s, which I was thinking a lot of. But then I was like, I'm going to step out of the box here and think about like what is actually cool from like a sports fan perspective, not necessarily like someone who is specific to a fan base. And I think I came up with the 2004 Boston Red Sox. As Yankee fans, you may not be appreciating this. I feel like to be a part of a team that broke the Bambino curse, just all the drama that came with that playoff season. I know you guys are crying over there. Some great players, Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez. Like, I'm not even a Red Sox fan, but I felt like I got a Pedro Martinez shirt that year. I remember, because like following along with that ride was just incredible for any sports fan other than a Yankees fan. So I was like, I feel like that is like really, there was just the drama that came with that season. It just, everyone remembers like the 2004 Red Sox. They've been successful since then, but that 2004 team sticks out. So I feel like that would be the coolest like sports team to be a part of, play along with that season and be involved in that.
Would you see him throw fat Don Zimmer to the ground? And you're like, I need that guy's shirt.
Yeah.
Was your second guess being? Was your second guess being on the 2021 Chiefs? All right, I'm done.
No. I specifically remember that actually, like that brawl. I was out on my back deck, like playing outside. I remember, and then like all of a sudden, like there was a commotion inside my house of like people watching the game. And I remember like sprinting and watching and being like, "This is freaking awesome!" As like an elementary school kid. So, and I ordered my Pedro Martinez shirt.
Yeah. In a close second place, Sarah actually chose 1939, the Third Reich in Germany. But
wow. Okay, that's an interesting team. I was not going to expect that. I think you're going to be Michael Irvin's cocaine dealer in 1996.
Richest guy in town.
Mm-hmm.
But
he got a ring. He got a ring.
Yeah,
he probably did.
The dealer kept everybody. What was that story? Didn't somebody get like stabbed in the neck for like taking somebody's barber chair in one of those teams?
Oh, my parents might have shielded me from that because I was too young. I don't know about that one.
Ray Lewis played on the 1990s.
You know what I'm talking
Cowboys?
about, Mike? I could have sworn there was some story about like Michael Irving like stabbing somebody.
I believe it. I do.
Think you're thinking of Ray Lewis?
No, I could have sworn. We'll get back to that. Yeah, I think it was Michael Irvin, known for the NFL as scrutiny, allegedly stabbing his teammate Everett McIver, saying, "Punk, get the fuck out of my chair." So fun.
So as long as you weren't Everett McIver, you were having a good year.
Yeah, that was all good.
I couldn't take my chances. Could have been me.
As upset as that made me, you're a decent salesperson. I got what you're saying. It's got to be fun to like the whole team. You're never buying you never have to buy a drink in Boston ever again. If you do that. So I do get that. And I was kind of doing the same thing. I kept going through thinking like all those Yankees teams would have been so fun. Like back in the, those early Jeter teams in the 90s would have just been incredible. But that, just felt kind of selfish. And then I tried to like think out of the box a little bit. And I think, because obviously those Yankees and all these teams are just so scrutinized, thinking about like those Warriors teams with Curry and Clay, like when you're just walking in and just dominating, it's so fun. But then there's also the whole you're so scrutinized in being a pro. So I was trying to think what's something that may be a little bit different. And I think one of the most recent, most fun teams that it would have been to be a part of, and I could actually see myself being out. Like, there's plenty of guys on this team that like probably didn't get any playing time and just had like starter jackets on and were hanging out on the sidelines, some injury. The 2019 LSU football team that won the national championship, Burrow, Jamar Chase, all the like. You're walking in, you were just smoking every team. You got Coach O as the head coach, so it's like vibes are good. You're an LSU, and like you were just an absolute legend down there for the rest of your life. That was like the greatest college football team I feel like I had ever seen, and also just like fun. There's obviously some amazing Alabama teams that were always good, but like all that cool shit with Burrow, it just seemed like those guys were absolute kings and were just rolling everybody they played. So you won a national championship. You like dominated a national championship. You beat Georgia. You crushed Georgia in the SEC championship game. Whatever. I think you won by like 30 points against Oklahoma in like the semifinal. So, I mean, they were just running over teams, and then they just got to like go be in New Orleans and be in Louisiana after that game, and just be able to have that whole fun season. So that was kind of the one that I came up with, that when I tried to think a little bit more creative beyond like beyond those Yankees teams.
I like it. I like that one a lot.
You left me scrambling because you just said don't pick the Yankees.
No. I did.
You know what? I'm gonna still pick a Yankee team. 1998 Yankees, second base. I'm not just riding the bench like you guys. I'm replacing Chuck Knobloch. You're out of there, Chuck. I'm turning two with Derek Jeter as we win 118 games and sweep the San Diego Padres and win the World Series. I'm the greatest baseball team ever assembled.
So who was that? The Tino Martinez? He was on first there.
Oh yeah,
that's the classic. The classic Blazel the Jeter to Martinez.
Yeah, that's right. 4-6-3 double play. Let's go.
Just
it was the peak of my sports, my youth sports. That was the absolute. I was 10 years old. I went to a bunch of those games. It was like, if there anything that made me a sports junkie, like 96 was the first ever experience of it, but I was still really young and I was obsessed with it. Then 97, and I didn't understand what I thought the Yankees won every year.
Yeah.
And then they lose to Cleveland. And then 98, you have that team, and it just cements. I remember putting the poster up in my bedroom, like how awesome that was. And just, I always thought, if you just get Chuck Knobloch out of there, you put me at second. Which ironically, I played baseball like for a good chunk of my life, and second base was never a position I played. But I'm not taking out Scott Brocious so I could play third. We need him.
You need
Chuck Knobloch. He can get out of there, leaning over the plate, and then he got the yips and started throwing the baseball into the crowd and hitting people. And yeah, Chuck Knobloch out, Mike Blazel in. Yankees win 121 games. I'm a +3 WAR.
Yeah,
everybody knows that.
Plus,
everybody knows that.
They're not talking about World War III.
No. Yeah, I had my honorable man. I would have loved to be on the dream team, but I'm not even touching the court. I couldn't even imagine the talent for this imaginary exercise to get me on that team. But that would be fun.
Yeah, just on the team. Just anywhere near that room. Yeah. Would be so.
Getting Michael Jordan a new pair of socks.
Whatever he needs. Frankly, I'm surprised you didn't say the 2024-25 Buffalo Bills, because now with Mitch Morse out, you might get a chance for Josh Allen to touch the back of your balls. So I was a little surprised you didn't take that.
Listen, they haven't offered any preseason fan experiences yet, so maybe I could pay for that anyways. We'll see. The Bills are hurting at the cap, and we're building a new stadium. I got some money.
Oh, look, I'll be the center, whatever you need. Take the veteran minimum. I don't care.
Hut. I don't need to learn the audibles.
Yeah.
Just keep no. A couple more seconds.
No.
Hot route.
They bring you in like the special needs kid in a high school game, and everybody just lets you have it.
Oh, if only. Well, maybe that'll happen. I haven't retired officially.
That's good. That's what we all need. Well, listen, another great episode. I love you guys. Thank you guys. Everybody's appreciating the name change. We have the beautiful new theme song from Mike. We appreciate that. And we got our new logo, everything coming up. Follow us on all of our new socials. We're still working through the changes and stuff. We are going to be getting on TikTok as well with the Heating Up Pod. So continue to follow us right now, Instagram, everywhere you get podcasts. Like, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and just let us know that you're listening. We appreciate it, and it helps everything. So we love you, and we will see you next week.
Ooh, transition.